White oak, red oak, acorns, right here. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I'm back home today. As y'all can tell, I'm out in the woods doing a little bit of scouting. Our season here in Iowa, bow season, starts next Friday, about 5 or 6 days away. My goal this year is to try to show you guys the entire process, from the scouting that starts right before the season, all the way up to finding bucks to hunt, and then ideally shooting a buck. The process has kind of already started because Ted and Jake have already been putting out cameras. They put out a bunch right before we left for Wyoming about a month ago, and we haven't pulled hardly any of them yet. We'll probably wait until the day before season starts or opening day to go and pull those cameras. But I just came out today to put some boots on the ground and scout some oaks to see what is producing acorns this year. Last year, if y'all remember back to some of our videos from Iowa, there were very few white oak acorns. The buck that I killed and the buck that Ted killed were both feeding on red oak acorns. And I'm in this grove of predominantly white oaks in here. You can see them, they're all around me. A few hickory trees and stuff as well, but there are acorns everywhere. I'm assuming as I go back here, you know, another mile or so through these woods, that it's just going to be acorns all over the place because these white oaks seem to be producing this year. They're not great big acorns, but there's a bunch of them. That can sometimes cause us issues because there's so many white oaks in these woods dropping acorns that deer are not focused down to one particular spot. A lot of these have, you know, just fallen. These are brand new. They're just fallen. They're not great big, but there's a bunch of them. Bunch of white oaks in here. I'm gonna scout around a bit and see if what else I can find. But this is the first step. I know this is kind of boring, but we got to get out here and we got to figure out what's changed versus last year so that we can make adjustments for this year. Some public areas have different crops planted. Some have been taken out of CRP and have now been farmed. Some have been, the timber has been cut. This particular area last year was red oaks that were dropping acorns. This year, white oaks that are dropping acorns. That's why we always talk about being adaptable, guys, because in the whitetails world, things are always changing, it seems like. I mean, I'm scouting today and things may be different in a week, but this at least gives me a bit of an idea. There's some red oaks over here. You can see it right here. This double trunk white oak right behind me. It's dropping them all over. And they will be in here feeding on them. Especially once hunters come in and start hunting the edges of the public out in the fields and stuff. Most of the deer will move back here pretty quick. 1st of October. Also, a quick side note, guys, I'm no expert on oaks and acorns. I know what they look like and I know deer love them. So Catman recently made a video on his channel that's very informative. You guys should definitely check it out if you're going to be hunting deer on acorns at any point, because he goes into detail on how to identify all these different oak trees. So check that out over on his channel. And I am going to continue looking around in these woods. Made it a little bit further. Found this big white oak here and there's just piles of acorns under it. Look down the hill and there's a fresh rub down here. There's also some fresh poop back there 50 or 60 yards away. We are going to start seeing these things popping up like crazy in these woods in the next couple weeks. Whenever you're reading rubs, you got to remember the time frame that you're looking at. This thing is a few weeks old, it looks like. It's not super fresh because like there's not moisture in the bark, but you can see the bark laying on top of the leaves. It's definitely a rub that was made in the last couple of weeks. And as we get into October, there's going to be a bunch more popping up in these woods because these trees are still holding a lot of acorns. That rub is just right there, 15 yards. I look up and there's a fresh scrape right here. Another one right there. And a third scrape right there. I was coming up this hill behind me. There's another rub right there. To my surprise, after I left that first ridge, I haven't seen a ton more acorns under red oaks or white oaks. But I got on the top of this ridge and I checked 5 or 6 trees and didn't see much under them. And then I hit a big white oak down there about 40 yards away, and it looked like a garden tiller had went underneath it. And there was acorns everywhere, still falling. And I kept walking up this little drainage that's kind of back behind me right here, and I found these scrapes right at the top of it, very, very fresh, like they have been in here in the last couple of days. And there's a bunch of acorns right here at the top of this little bowl. So I'm not gonna go any further than this. If this was opening day and I found this sign right here, I'd be picking a tree. But at least I have some idea as to what is going on right now. So I'm gonna get out of here. They in the woods eating acorns, there's no doubt. At least they are right here. So there's a bunch of scrapes in here, good grief. This is good stuff. Good start. We found a pile of tracks here along the edge of the water. There's looks like duck potato all along the edge of this where the lake's dried up. All these ridges and all this CRP and stuff out here. We've hunted deer. I mean, they bed in this stuff like crazy, so seems like a lot of deer are coming out here and feeding on this duck potato and going out to that water getting drink. But wind's not great to do a bunch of walking around in here, so we might just walk the edge of the water around and check out the rest of this stuff, look for some big tracks. There's some big tracks scattered in there, but a lot of doe and smaller tracks looks like, so just take a little loop around. There's one rub up there that Ben was just filming, so there's definitely some big boys around here. This is good to know that they're eating on this duck potato, because it seems like the acorns and the ridges is where we're finding most of the sign, but this is a different food source that we can kind of key in on now. So
yeah, I think Jake filmed a pretty nice one last night eating duck potato some on the edge of the water.
Yeah, there's a big buck on the edge of the lake last night. It'll definitely be out here, but I think we're gonna walk this, look for sign, and then we might hop in with Jake in his boat and do some scouting from that. So. Ben and I just got up here to this little knob. We can see down through all this bottom ground. This is the same spot where Jake and I hunted last year, and he ended up sticking that buck, but we never found him. We were up on this same little knob, watching over all this bottom, spotted him down in the creek bottom, and we were able to work through the creek bottom and get up on him. But we're back in here tonight. It's October 2nd, second day of season here in Iowa, so there's a ton of tracks down in this bottom again, like there was last year. And there's actually some duck potato back this way in the bottom, and it looks like the deer are just eating the heck out of that stuff. So they got everything they need right here between the water, all this cover in the bottom, cover up on the ridges, acorns up on the ridges, and then duck potato down that way. So we should see some deer tonight. Jake and Roy are gonna head into a different spot as well tonight and do a little hunting, but the deer probably aren't up and moving real great right now. It's been pretty hot and stale weather. We'll see. Maybe we'll see something down this bottom. Seems like we should. She looks like she's lost. I can't imagine I don't know.
She's not where I don't think she should be.
Yeah. She's walking right through all these tracks in this cove are coming like this way from that side to the other on these ridges, and she's walking. I don't know where she came from, but she's walking right along the edge of this tree track where we thought the deer were gonna come from. Out for a nature walk, I guess, which is great if that's what she's doing. Out enjoying the land.
those ridges there.
Had a doe and a fawn coming down here. They were like 40 yards standing there feeding on this grass in front of us. I got a doe tag for this county, so if we get a good shot at one, we'll take it. But the doe was pretty comfortable, but the fawn turned around and looked back the direction they came and took off running up in the woods behind us. So the doe followed, but not sure what sent him running. Our wind's sucking down this way, so they shouldn't have got our wind, but thought maybe another deer was coming, but I haven't seen anything. Still got quite a bit of time till dark, so we've seen quite a few does down in this bottom throughout the night, so deer moving around. They came running from across the cove, so they moved a long ways in a short period of time, so.
Oh, nice buck there.
Nice buck.
Yep.
Coming this way.
It's just solid. Yeah.
He's right off the end of that point.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna go to.
Real nice buck.
Yeah.
2 bucks.
Okay. It's a buck and a doe.
What's the front one, a buck?
Yeah, the front one's the buck. He's coming right at us.
He's not very far.
He's coming at us. See him? He's walking to the right. That's the doe. He's gonna follow that doe.
That's the most action we've had in 3 weeks. We might have to come back here in the morning. Probably should. We've seen a bunch of deer tonight. Saw a pile of does and then that nice buck, and I think he was with this little spike or something. We were thinking about diving down off this point and trying to get in front of them, but we couldn't. They'd get in that thick stuff, and then we weren't sure if they'd come down this creek edge or what they were going to do exactly. They kept kind of quartering our way, so it was hard to run down there to them. Just all the deer that we saw tonight moved a long ways. Those deer came from, I don't know, 600 yards probably, or more. But it's interesting that they're all piling off these ridges and coming down through here and feeding on this green vegetation like that duck potato back there. I'm sure a lot of them end up down there feeding on that. Yeah, like I said, that's the most action we've had in a long time between hunting Missouri and the opening day of Iowa. So that's awesome. It was fun. We'll probably be back here in the morning, glassing, seeing if we can spot something, bed down out here, or catch something coming through in the morning, kill them.